Alrighty, fellas, welcome back. This is Thursday Night Football Preview. As you can see from the title, we have 3 bets we're going to lock in. We just swept Monday night. How you doing? And we also swept in college football last week. So now let's do it again. We're in a Thursday Night Football slump. We've yet to have a really good night in Thursday Night Football. So let this week is the week. If not, you can just fade and we can see what happens. But so far, we have been rolling. Let's keep it up. Starting on Underdog per usual. We're going to speed through these. Going to give you all the numbers you need. But again, if you're not on Pick'It, which is where you can find all these bets, you can see the past. We've been cruising this month so far. If I can pull it up. Month so far, we've been cruising up 18 units. We're living right now. A lot of green, not a lot of red, except for last Thursday. So hoping to turn that around this Thursday with the bets that we do have. And we can make the most of everything that's been going on in the NFL. We have a great matchup, Seattle versus the San Francisco 49ers. I'm super hyped. So again, make sure you're on Pick'It so you can see my bets and the fastest times I place them. You can literally copy them as soon as I post them. So again, make sure you take advantage. Use your code BDG. You'll be able to follow all the boys. First pick, Kenneth Walker over rushing yards. I got this at 55.5. But you can snag it at 58.5. I like it all the way to around 61, 62. That's where I'm probably going to draw the line here. But to go over it real quick, we can pull up his prop stat cash for 3 games he's played. Again, if he did miss a game, so you have to factor that in as well. He missed 2 games, technically, actually. Played against Denver, played against Detroit. 103, 80 yards on those games. 19 yards against the Giants. It's going to deter a lot of people from this play. I think it's going to pull his line down a little bit. But when you look at the game script of how everything went, they were down for almost the entirety of this game, and they were struggling to run the ball versus the Giants. So they limited that, turned in a lot of screens, a lot of short plays, a lot of short passes. And the Giants came and they stacked the box early to try to stop the run and forced Geno to throw the ball, which is a very interesting tactic as so far, Ryan Grubb's offense has been a very pass-friendly offense, but the Giants matched up really well. Deontay Banks played his best game by far, shutting down DK for most of the game. They were able to shadow JSN over top with a safety in that regard, so they played really well. Got to give the Giants credit for where they when they do perform well, and they did in this game. I don't think that happens again. Let's be straight up. I don't think this dud is going to happen again. We're going to look for the bounce back here. Again, he said over this in 2 or 3 games, averaging 67.3 yards in those games. And the Niners allow 5 yards, 4.7 to be exact, yards per attempt so far this season. And Kenneth has been killing his average yards per attempt as he's one of the most efficient backs in all of football as of right now. If we look at his rushing per attempt, it is right now at 5.2, which is one of the league high in the entire NFL. Now, again, only 3 games compared to 5 games. Sample size is a little bit less. So obviously, could be some numbers altered there. But for the most part, he's absolutely killing it. So far this season, when the Niners have played weeks 1 through 5, Brees Hall, 54 rushing yards. And ironically, one of the worst rushing offenses in the NFL. Right now, the Jets have looked horrible from a run blocking perspective. The run game is very predictable. He still got 54 yards on this team. Ty Chandler, 82 rushing yards, along with Aaron Jones, 32 rushing yards on top of that. Kyron Williams, 89 rushing yards. Ramondre Stevenson, only 43 rushing yards. They have the worst O-line in all of the NFL, along with they were down the entirety of the game. But him still racking up 43 rushing yards, it makes me feel confident. And then James Conner with 86 rushing yards last game. I think Kenneth is going to be in that realm of around the 80, 70 mark in this game. Sharp is almost a non-factor. Kenneth is seeing over 70% of all of the running back touches right now. So he's clearly the alpha in this backfield. He's had 2 games where he's had rushing longs over 20 yards, 23 and 28 in the first 2 games against the Giants. He didn't see many opportunities, so he only had a 7-yard rush. But the Seahawks run 318 yards of their 527 rushing yards this season from the right side of the formation this season, averaging 6 yards per carry, which is the first in the NFL. Now, when they go to the left, it's only 4.7, which is 19th. But when they keep running to the right side of the formation, which is the Niners' weak side of the formation, they've seen a ton of success. So hopefully that continues tonight. Also, Kenneth has run for 127 yards on outside runs this season, generating that plus 44 RYOE. That's rush yards over expected. If you don't know what RYOE is, we could put that like right in front of you. So again, RYOE, rush yards over expected. That is more rush yards than you are expected to get on a per attempt, aka breaking tackles, finding a better hole, all that sort of stuff. That's plus 44, which is 11th among all running backs, compared to only plus 3 rush yards over expected on runs between the tackles, which is 37th. So when they run outside, they see a ton of success. Now, why does this matter? Because the 49ers defense allow more yards than expected at the league high, the number 1 in the league, 47.2% on outside runs this season. They allow the most yards over expected on outside runs compared to only 28.8% on runs, which is 8th lowest on inside runs. So if they run a ton of stretches, get Walker involved in the outside like they did against Detroit, he could have a big game like I think he will. 80 yards against Detroit. I think he can have something similar again against the Niners this week. So I absolutely love this Kenneth line. I think he smashes. We take it on underdog. Use code BDG if you're not an underdog because you'll get not only this Kenneth line and the other plays we see today, but you'll also be able to get a free line of Brock Purdy at just half a yard. You get this plus up to $1,000 in deposit match bonuses, along with another free square for Saturday, which I'm not so sure what it is yet, but I'll flash it on the screen for you. So you have 2 free plays plus up to $1,000 to absolutely cash out. And I think they have some promos going on right now. 31% profit boost going on right now, so you can take advantage of those as well. Heading to our second play, it is going to be a wide receiver, and it's going to be for the Seattle Seahawks. Jackson Smith-Njigba to go over 47.5 receiving yards. That's a psych fake prank. That's what we're going to take now, but on Pickett, I took his over on receptions. So I took it at, if you can see, I took 4.5 receptions on FanDuel, minus 138. If you saw my tweet, you got it last night. If you didn't, you're seeing it now and again. I'm filming this right before this goes out, so this is like up to date as fuck. I think it's still 138 on FanDuel, so I took the over on receptions, but you can take the over on yards, and I'll talk through both of them right now. So we go to receiving yards. We can look, again, if you're interested in what this site is, you're like, how do you see all these graphs, Gut? This is props.cash. We're not sponsored by it, but I am personally. Use code GUT25. You get 25% off your first month. So if you bet a lot, this is definitely beneficial so you can see the trends and everything. So far this season, he's only hit this in 2 of 5 games. So you're probably like, Gut, why would he hit this now? Now, again, I took receptions, but the receiving yards correlate very well. So if we go down to JSN, he's a lot of production out of the slot. Almost all of his production is out of the slot this season. 221 yards coming from the slot this season. That's the 4th most in the entire NFL. In 2023, JSN had 25 receptions for 271 yards from the slot alignment. He's already killing his line from last season. Now, the 49ers defense has allowed 13.8 yards per attempt to slot receivers this season. That is 2 more yards per attempt than the next closest team. So they're allowing the most yards out of the slot by far this season. Not only that, but the Niners allow the 5th most receptions from slot wide receivers as well. So again, they are one of the worst teams against slot receivers, bottom 5. Not only that, but when you look at teams he's played that are bottom 5 against slot receivers, New England and Detroit. New England, not 12 receptions, 117 receiving yards as you see on the screen. And Detroit, New England was 9th worst, by the way. Detroit's 4th worst, so they're just as bad as the Niners. 8 receptions for 51 receiving yards. He's going to cook. He had 53 until he went -2 yards on one of the last plays, so sadly, that's the way it goes, but he still had 8 receptions. Again, I'm taking the over on receptions here at 4.5. It's still minus 138 on FanDuel. Make sure you take advantage. It's also on all the books. Underdog, for some reason, as I'm recording this, doesn't have it up, but they will for sure. I like the 47.5 receiving yards. I think he's also going to find the end zone tonight, too, so if you want to sprinkle that in, I probably will as well for some fun. But yeah, I definitely believe in JSN versus this defense. Again, they're going to want to get the ball out quick. They're going to want to move the ball. It's a divisional opponent. They're going to want to take easy yards. They're going to want to take the access throws. I think that's going to be JSN tonight. So those are our Seahawks. We have 3 plays. Those are 2 Seahawks for tonight. And now I have one more play, and that is going to be the running back, Jordan Mason, to go higher than 18 rushing attempts. I got him at 17.5 attempts. Again, you see it on Pickett right in front of you. 17.5 attempts for Jordan Mason. And you can tail that. Again, use code BDG when you sign up. But we're going to look at his rush attempts here. You also could take his yards. I know a lot of people are taking his yards. The only scary part about his yards is Seattle's one of the best tackling. Now, again, they gave up a huge game to Tyrone Tracy, so bar my words. But they're one of the best tackling teams in the entire NFL. They're actually the 3rd best tackling team in the NFL. Jordan Mason now has broken the most tackles in the NFL. So it's going to be an interesting mix there. But I think Jordan Mason can dominate on the ground as well. So I'm going to take the attempts. He's obviously seen the volume all season long. I think he's going to probably see over 20 attempts in this game. So getting him for 17.5 feels fantastic. As you can see, he's averaging 21 attempts per game, 28, 20, 19, 24. Again, only 14 against Arizona. They went down late in the game, which took away probably 3 or 4 runs easily. He probably would have been closer to 17 if they were up. Didn't have to drive the ball down the field through the air. The game script kind of didn't favor him there. So I think it's going to favor him today, though. I have a sneaky suspicion that this could be a blowout. Not a blowout, but I think it could be like Niners win like 31-17 and Seattle tries to run the ball early. They have some success, but the Niners offense just clicks. Maybe J-Mo's just getting in my head because he's talking a lot about it, but that could be a narrative. Either way, I think the Niners will win this game, even though I'm rooting for Seattle. And I think they're going to have to run the rock, and it's going to go through Jordan Mason as it has all season. Now, when I bring up the numbers, so far against Seattle, Tyrone Tracy, 18 attempts. Gibbs and Monty, 26 attempts. And then we go to week 2, week 3, Wash. Week 2, Ramondre, 21 attempps. And week 1, Javonte and Jalil. Now, again, I say Gibbs and Monty and Javonte and Jalil because they are a shared 50-50 split backfield. This is not a 50-50 split backfield by any means. So I'm taking Jordan Mason to take over all those carries. Javonte, Jalil, 18 attempts. Now, could we see a little bit of Isaiah Guerrero? Sure. I think Isaac can get a little bit involved, but I think it's still going to be mainly the Jordan Mason show, as it has been all season. They're going to want to run the ball. Mason hits over this. And Seattle allows the 11th most attempts to running backs all season. So they're allowing a lot of attempts, and they're going to want to control the clock of this game. They're not going to want Seattle's offense to have the ball all game because they know they'll drive the ball down the field and score fast, score often. That's what Detroit was now playing against the clock in a game where they were up. Seattle starts to storm back. Their offense gets the ball moving. Their offense gets rolling. Once Seattle's offense starts to get rolling, it becomes scary. It's really hard to stop. I think San Francisco is going to want to neutralize that early in the game and try to control the clock early and often so they can hold the ball for as long as possible before scoring and not give the offense as much time, try to wear and tear the Seattle defense. And so far, that's been the best way to beat them. The Giants did it in a great fashion last week, so I think that's probably what's going to happen this week as well. Yep, those are my 4 plays, though. Again, pretty quick run-through of them. If you're not signed up on Underdog, make sure you sign up using code BDG when you sign up. If you're not on Pickett, make sure you use code BDG when you sign up on there. And if you want to use my code GUT25 on Props.cash, make sure you do that as well and lock in on there. And that's where we're taking off our bets. If you want the writing form of these, you can see them on Twitter. Make sure before you leave a like. As well as subscribe. It is absolutely free. The best way to support the channel. We have been rolling this month, so let's keep it going. TikToks will also be out on these plays. We'll have a YouTube live going tomorrow with all the boys for Thursday Night Football per usual. So I'm hoping to see you guys there. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments as well, and I will catch you guys next time. Love you guys a long time. Peace.